then. And Reginald Rutledge, obviously, you know, he's a major innovator. He still sells products. Same thing with George Diamond. He was a major innovator, sells products today, also promoted many tournaments back in the day. So, up first, unfortunately, this candidate, or this inductee, cannot be here tonight. He is a credentialed Assembly of God pastor. His name is, well, you know his name. It's Paul Bartels, also known as Raiderman. He's got a major church event tomorrow going on in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. That prevents him from being here, okay? But we're going to induct him, and basically, this coach, and most of you know him, his love for the hobby began on Christmas Eve 1985 when he received a game containing the Dolphins and 49ers from his brother. Soon, he was ordering more teams. He was playing anybody and everybody. He was organizing a neighborhood league. His EF youth, unfortunately, came to a close when he went out to college. He brought his games, he brought his boards, brought his players, saw an ad in a local newspaper saying Tudor electric football wanted. He sold his boards, sold his men, all at the time of college. So that was his first go around with the game. Later, in 1997, his wife the game was rekindled when his wife bought him a new game board. Basically, he was a born-again electric football player. Okay, now Paul Bartels is a born-again Christian. He's very devout, and for electric football, his second coming came in 1997. His wife got him a new game, and by 1999, he was living back in the Pennsylvania area, and he met up with George Diamond and Mike Pratt, and basically he started his play began again during a renaissance of our game. Back in those days when Meagle had that chat board, and many of us here met up on that chat board and through the internet. His achievements are extensive. He has successfully competed and won many tournaments and league championships. He developed a rule set for the National High Voltage League. That was the first national U.S.-wide league run by Raiderman. He's introduced the game to many children and young people over the years. He promoted one of the first tournaments to be held in a shopping mall. I remember my son playing this tournament many years ago when he was like 9 years of age. And it was the shopping mall in York, Pennsylvania, and basically people in the mall stopping by watching us play the game. He's considered an excellent squeaker. He's an excellent painter. He built 620-size boards. He's a 4-time Harrisburg Pro League champion. He's an 8-time Harrisburg College League champion, a 2-time Colonial Buzzball Association champion, a 3-time AJ's College Tournament champion. He took part in the Tom Rusnick Tournament, the charity event of Minnesota. He's a 2-time Buzzball Winterfest champion, a 1-time Buzzball SummerSlam champion, and 1-time Buzzball World champion. In general, Raiderman has done more for the hobby in every category, to include painting, tweaking, building boards, teaching at the younger generation, starting leagues, to include one of the first national leagues we had across the country. And simply, he respects his hobby, and he does nothing more than make it its best. And those are the fine attributes of Paul Bartels, the Raiderman. In his personal life, he's married to wife Carmen. They've got 4 beautiful children. He's a credentialed Assembly of God pastor. He serves as a children's youth pastor and kids pastor in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Professionally, he is an architect, designer, and project manager. He is most thankful for this honor and recognition. So that's Paul Raiderman Bartels. Like I said, he cannot be here. So instead, he asked me to read this speech on his behalf. And he has a little disclaimer to start the speech off. And it goes like this. The man reading this is not the Raiderman. I am not that skinny. I'm not that short. I don't talk with a funny accent. And I don't drink booze. And I have more hair for now. It is with a great honor that I accept this award of being voted into the MFC Hall of Fame. It is also with great regret that I cannot be here with you in person to fellowship with all of you. Please forgive me, but my schedule is very demanding. His mother recently had open heart surgery, so he's got some personal problems at home at the moment. And also, like I said, he's a pastor at a local church, and he's got a big event going there tomorrow. So that prevents him from being with us here tonight. Electric football has been a big part of my life since I was 11 years of age. I didn't even know the game of football when I received the game for Christmas in 1985, but I quickly became a fanatic. Before the birth of my 4 wonderful children, I lived for electric football, playing in many leagues and every tournament that I could get into. It was always and still is this unexplained excitement of playing this game, from the creating of the teams, to bringing them to life, to basing them up. Those little players just became a part of me. Anyone outside this hobby would never understand that statement. I'm sure all of you know exactly what I'm talking about. Can I hear an amen?
Amen.
Yeah, it's all about basing those guys up, and they become a part of you, and you know the excitement of getting those guys to run the first time on the board, and to play in games on the board. This hobby has provided me with many years of enjoyment and amazing fellowship of friendships, as well as an avenue to reach out to a younger generation. Many of the youth that I have taught this game have grown up, gone off to college, but as they return, they still desire to be back in a local league playing. Through this game, they have learned sportsmanship. If you trash talk anyone in the league, Raiderman, it's going to give you the beating of your life. Sorry. This is Raiderman's own words. He wrote it from the heart, Jim. Stand with us. Up here with us. They learn to respect it for others, as well as being part of something they enjoyed for many years. Teaching the younger generation this game has always been a big part of my mission. They will eventually carry our torch for us. I mean, come on, guys. How many more years can you hunch over that table and deal with that killer lower back pain? I feel obligated to inform you of some of the great stories of... He also wants to go with some personal stories he's acquired over the years, okay? Here's one about Corey Johnson, my teammate this year, with the both of us being elected to the Hall of Fame. Corey once told his girl that he was working part-time at a Sears and Roebuck, okay? He's working part-time with the Sears, okay? In the meantime, he's traveling up to Harrisburg on Thursday nights to play in the Harrisburg League. Yeah, he's working at Sears and Roebuck. Yeah, right. Here's another one. Corey once fell asleep in a hotel lobby on the couch during a buzzball tournament at Harrisburg. He was all curled up in a fetal position. I told the desk clerk to call the cops, but he remembered Corey checking in and actually had a room. So he didn't call the cops. Being the self-promoter that he is, he used to carry a photo of himself, Corey Johnson, also known as Pretty Boy, in his team box. That was until I lit it on fire during a league gathering on Saturday afternoon in Altoona. Corey stayed at my house once. I dragged him out of bed at 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning so we could play our league game before the others showed up. He still complains about that, but he did not complain about the pig roasting in my backyard later that day. And then his Corey's favorite line, or famous line, I just based this team up. Yeah, okay.
Right.
I just based them up. That's why they play so bad. In conclusion, I'd like to thank many of my friends in the hobby. I'll start with Mike Pratt and George Diamond, who were my initial friends in this hobby once I moved to Pennsylvania in 1999. Mike taught me so much about the game, and George has always been there with me as we established the Harrisburg Buzzball Leagues, even though I did most of the work. To Mike Gutman, who has been a great friend to me over the years, from the first tournament in Minneapolis back in 2004. Also, Aaron the Juice Johnson has been a great friend of mine in and out of this hobby for well over a decade, not to mention my first friend on the old Meagle chessboard. We may not talk much now, but except for when Michigan's playing Ohio State. But every time we hook up, we just pick up where we left off the last time we met up. The Weird Wolf. NFL enemies for life and lifelong friends. I still remember sending Wolf an email telling him about the old Meagle chessboard where many of us met back in the late 90s. One of my favorite characters in the hobby, Ed Smokestack Scott. He was always the brains of the Philadelphia connection. You know, who else from Philly, right? Ed with his famous shouts, Moses, hasta la vista, arrivederci, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen. Priceless. To the crew from D.C., I owe you a lot of credit. If it weren't for Keith Chalmers and Calma Lomax and some of the others that made me so mad at tournaments, I would not have won so many and tried so hard. So to you I say thank you. To many of my friends in Michigan, like Norbert, Jimmy Davis, Ken Allen, Craig Hardman, Chuck Lawrence, I thank all of you for your friendships both inside and outside of this hobby. Lastly, to the man reading this, my buddy Ray Fanaro with the funny accent, thanks for the laughs and support and your friendship over the years. You make me laugh so hard. As this time you took me to the Redskins game to see the Raiders play. You have not lived until you've seen an NFL game with Ray Fanaro. Thank you all. And again, I'm sorry I cannot be there with you tonight. God has a calling on my life, and he needs to come first. I would pray that all of you find the calling that God has on your life as well, if you have not already. Have fun, play hard, make friendships that will last a lifetime. Thank you. The Raiderman. That's the Raiderman. And to accept his induction, okay, no, thank you, Jimbo. But something even more fitting than Jim for this, okay? To accept his induction, we're going to bring up Lynn Weird-Wolf Schmidt to take up the, Oh, yeah.
On behalf of the greatest team in the AFC West, Kansas City Chiefs, Raiderman's favorite enemy, I accept this award on behalf of my favorite enemy, Paul Bartels, Raiderman.
All right. Okay. Who's next? Who I got next? Wait. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. Who is it? Okay. That's okay. Oh, there it is. Yeah, you guys here.
Corey.
Okay. We have some past members, past inductees in the room. If you come forward now, David Nichols, Linda Woodward, Mark Greenbaum. Did I miss anybody? Please stand up. Please, did I miss anybody?
Lynn.
Okay, next time.
Lynn
Schmidt. I got Lynn. I said Lynn.
Okay.
Lynn, please come up for this next induction, please. This next coach really doesn't need an introduction. Okay. You can have you guys have a seat too if you want. Thank you very much.
This might take a while.
This might take a while. I got a lot to read here about this individual. This individual started playing the game at age 8 or 9 when his cousin Eric Lowry got a board. This individual was fascinated by the movement of the players. Soon his first board was a Tudor 660, followed by numerous 620s, teams bought at thrift stores, and teams from Tudor directly. He and his cousin spent many a late night playing games, sometimes till 2 or 3 a.m. on weekends. Soon he had close to 28 teams. He was playing a solitaire with extensive schedules, records being kept. I've seen him tonight. He still has them. He dropped them. His two best teams were the Packers and the Oilers because of James Lofton and Earl Campbell, his favorite players. This individual's got many career accomplishments. He was the original MFCA board director member, received the MFCA President's Award in 2009, MFCA Coach of the Year 2010, voted top 10 all-time of the 64 greatest coaches in the Coaches Countdown, captured the 2010 MFCA Championship, won back-to-back Green Room Rumbles in 2003, 2004, won the Beltsville League Championship, won the Urban Gridiron Philly title with a perfect season, most ever tournament appearances of any coach with entries in Meagle, MFCA, Beltsville, Bash, Capital Clash, Buzzball, Seawall Brawl, Texas Shootout, Eric and Dave's Open Run, Tom Rusnick's charity event, just to name a few. And league play, he's a driving force behind the NFL in Philly and enjoys playing in every league on the East Coast, Harrisburg, BAM, Beltsville, High Voltage, etc. Holds records for most wins in the NFL, most points scored, 65, first 16-0 season, 2010, 11-time division champion, 3-time conference championships, Super Bowl runner-up his rookie season. He's the co-creator of the Green Room Rumble tournament, promotes EF through many interviews, publications, just by showing up at any and all events. He shows up anywhere, okay? We know that. At his own personal expense, basically. He is a tireless worker for the MFCA, most well-known coach across the country, simply national, always puts the game first above all personal achievements, and he is the face of the hobby, you know that about it. His parents are Gail and Charles Johnson, oldest of 3 boys. His brothers are Tori and David. He's got a son, Casey Johnson. He's known as Mr. National and the undisputed face of the hobby. He will never stop playing or fellowshipping with the great people of this hobby. Now, before I bring him up, we're also going to bring up Ed Scott to say a few words on behalf of this individual.
We got to do it before happy hour.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you. Oh, wow. Can I put it over here for you? When it's time to present it, you present it, okay?
Thank you so much. I just want to say a few words. Ray said pretty much everything. You've read the story, you know the history, you know this man, what he's contributed to the hobby. He's selfless in his pursuit of the hobby. I'll just tell a couple quick stories. When I go away, you know, they ask me where I'm going from work. I said, I'm just getting together with some friends for Hall of Fame weekend. We hang out at the hotel for 4 days. The same guys every year. What do you do? I'm too ashamed to tell them that I play electric football. It's just the way I am. I mean, some people wouldn't understand, but Corey, on the other hand, is almost evangelical. He keeps MFCA flyers with him. He always has electric football materials, and he'll take the time to explain the game. I don't know how many times he's called me and told me to bring my Tweet magazines for display. You know, that's set up, you know, at a you know, community center or something like that. But I think, you know, more so than everything else, it's you know, I read something a long time ago. It said, how do you define greatness? And greatness is defined as what people say about you when you're not in the room. And I know there's some who question the choice, who question the process, who question the people that occupy the hall. But what I can tell you, and I don't live in Ohio, but every couple of years they have to go back to Canton and expand it because it keeps growing. And that's the beauty of this organization. These fine gentlemen and ladies that make up the MFCA are visionary, okay? They know the process needs to be looked at, needs to be tweaked, okay? Sunday, or Saturday rather, if you watch the actual induction ceremony, you're going to hear about a guy, his name was David Robinson. He played for the Green Bay Packers. He went to Penn State. It's almost been 30 years. He's not what you call a first-team ballot, okay? But he's very deserving. Everyone knows he's deserving. That kind of defines Corey and kind of defines a lot of people I see in this room, that although they're not in it now, they're very well deserving of it. And I'm just, you know, I'm just humbled to know this man, to travel with him, to understand what drives him. He's a father, a mate, a teacher. He's a great athlete. He's you know, some management skills I've seen with running the league is one of the toughest things to do throughout the course of the season. Knows how to involve and engage people, and literally, you know, finds time to go and build up and magnify what other people are doing outside of town. That's why they call him a national. It's funny and we laugh about it, but it's very true. A lot of times, just him being in the room or showing support or commenting on the chat boards or just giving, you know, validation to your league is important. I think that's one of his big contributions. Again, being evangelical about the hobby, loving the hobby and everything you do, being enthusiastic. So all these wins and hobbies and trophies really aren't that important. What really matters to grow this hobby and move it forward is we need people like Corey. And the good news is I know there's more in this room that are doing it in their neck of the woods, in their leagues, whether it's 6, 12, 32, it doesn't matter. And I'm not going to be satisfied until I see a Solitaire and the West Coast get their just due, because their time is coming. It's there. There's a lot of talented coaches. Now we've got people that are visionary. We've got some new innovators in the hobby that are starting to really get wind of what's going on. So it looks to be a very dynamic period of change. I'm just very proud to present Corey Johnson with his Hall of Fame award, his inductee. And
That's funny. Just unplug it, it'll stop. Who's got TV? We got music going?
Oh yeah, you gotta have theme music.
Okay.
Every hero should have some theme music, is what I say.
I just want to say thanks. There's really nothing else. You know, all these guys said this nice stuff about me. I'm not, you know, the great coach like a Jim or Adrian. I don't have the innovation of a Bruce Watts and some of them guys. All of us probably don't, the artists. But everybody in here can support the hobby and promote it. That's what I do, what I try to do. And thanks for voting me in. So you guys hope have a great weekend. And the last thing is we're selling these block pools. You guys got to help me sell these block pools for the MFCA championship game. It's $10 a piece. You get a chance to win some money, some prizes. So have a great weekend. And again, thanks guys. It's really an honor to be part of the club. And that's about it. Thanks.
Okay. Lee Payne Award.
Thank you, Corey. Congratulations. Congratulations to Raiderman. We do have 2 more awards to present. The next award, Lynn, if you could grab that. No, the other one. Thank you. Sorry, I was having a mental block. Ladies and gentlemen, Lynn Schmidt. This next award is the Lee Payne Award that we give out annually, and this year's recipient is Mr. Chris LeMay. Chris, congratulations. Sorry.
Step that way a little bit. All right.
Thank you for the award. Didn't really expect it. The MFCA is a great organization, and that's about all I can say about it. I believe very much in the goals and the mission of the MFCA. And, obviously, I can do, I try to do everything that I can to promote the gaming hobby. Hopefully, I've made a little bit of a difference. But, thanks to the board of directors. I served on the board of directors for several years. And it's often a very thankless job. we've got a very good organization and a very strong organization. And